Well, I am delighted to have in the studio with us today a good friend, Commissioner C.W. Smith, and I wanted him here today for a lot of reasons. One is, and the primary reason is to honor you.
Well, gosh, thank you.
And to thank you for your many years of public service as a commissioner, as a sheriff, as a dude.
Yeah, we've been there, haven't we?
Yeah, well, you know, and as a fierce competitor. He and I, we ran against each other, and it was fun. But I just, you know, how many years, Commissioner?
Well, 8 years.
8 years
as
as
a commissioner and 12 years as a sheriff, and then 10 years with Medford Police Department. Prior to that, 3 years with Talent PD as the chief, and 2 years as a captain with the sheriff again.
I mean, that's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
Public service, and
yeah.
you're going to hang it up. You said no, and it's time to just...
I am going to do something different.
Well, you've been an incredible public servant, and I just wanted to say thanks for your years and years. Of course, all of your police training, and then as a commissioner, what was your best, what was your worst?
Oh, gosh.
Besides losing to me.
Yeah, that was a tough moment, you know. But I think we both lost to Wes Cooley.
Oh, well, yeah.
That was the biggest injury of all.
Yeah,
you know.
well, he's now in the clink. He went to jail about a week ago. So
yeah, that was.
Yeah.
You know, that was just that was an event and something that I had in mind to do, and we did it, and you know, we moved on.
Yeah.
I think there were low points, I suppose. Of course, the most difficult situation was my son, that situation. But in public service, I have to say that there were challenges every day, but I wouldn't go back and redo any of it. I saw some unbelievable things in the course of my life that you know, you'd think would scar most people, but because of my faith, you know, and my family sort of kept me stable and going, and friends. You know, you were always a good friend in that regard.
Thank you. Likewise.
And I think we saw tremendous change. We saw things that we said couldn't be done, can be done. We stabilized the county government. We had tremendous cuts when the sheriff took over, or I took over as sheriff, and we made that work. So there were challenges all along the way.
You know, I think what happens to most people when they run for public office and they get in, it's a little frustrating at first because things move so slow.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like watching mushrooms grow. Well, Perry, I was just visiting with somebody the other night, and I'm getting ready to try to figure out what I'm going to do with my retirement, you know, stuff, and so he started talking to me about, well, you're the sheriff. Yeah, I was that. Yeah, I did that. And you were well, I remember you from Medford Police. So I started telling a few stories, and he says, you ought to write a book.
Yeah.
So. Well, actually, we are in the process of writing a book.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, it's not about me, it's about somebody else, but it's a true figure. And it was somebody who was undercover inside the Aryan Nations for 4 years. No
kidding.
And he was a gentleman that started here in Jackson County as an undercover guy, and worked for us and did some outstanding things. And it's entitled "In the Devil's Eye," but I don't think we'll probably change the title.
Yeah, well, you never know. You know what's interesting to me is that you're coming out of this clean, and I just want to say thank you. Not many people do.
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
Our son just stepped out of the Senate after 14 years.
Yeah.
And he stepped out with his integrity intact, and it got hard. There's hard moments in this thing, and you know how difficult your friends turn on you, people turn on you. It's tough. It's just tough.
It is tough. It is tough. And you know, I don't know. I've always held, when I stepped away from being the sheriff, I could have been sheriff for probably another term or two, but I had encountered sheriffs that were complacent. They'd been there a long time.
Yeah, right.
And I said, I never want to be that kind of a person. Right. I want to go on to a new challenge, a new horizon, something different. And I don't want to be complacent. I always want to have a little passion about whatever I'm doing. So I'm starting up my art business, so
good.
Yeah, and I'm excited about that.
That's a part of you people probably don't know. You got into sculpturing and art, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And are you still doing both?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
That's wonderful.
Yep. And I've got a little studio I'm trying to finish off, and I've got clay all piled up and
Really?
projects already lined out, and so I'm pretty excited.
You have worked with a variety of people,
Mm-hmm.
and you stayed steady, but the county's in good shape, isn't it? Considering all the other 35?
The other 35 counties.
Okay.
You're absolutely right.
This one's in pretty good shape, isn't it?
Really is in pretty good shape.
What a great way to leave it, huh?
Yeah, it's not like we're not scrambling for blue sky and trying to figure out where we're going to survive. We are going to survive for a good number of years, and if the economy turns around and things happen, hopefully, like we would like to see them happen, the county will be in good shape.
Well, you did it. A lot of people don't do it. Yeah, you guys worked hard and you continue to work hard. Constituent service has got to be tough because you just don't please everybody.
That's true. Yeah, that's really true.
And you smile with that.
Well, that's
barely.
That's an absolute truth. That's an absolute truth.
Yeah.
People they have an idea on what they want and want to have done, and the laws are such that I think the biggest area, and I had this conversation with George St. Laurent on the phone just yesterday. Is land use and land use planning. As you know, we are the most centrally managed land use laws in the state, in the country, and it's very difficult for people to get around that and understand it. And that's been the greatest challenge, I think, really, in being a county commissioner, is try to push. It's like this giant 200-ton
gorilla.
Glob you're trying to move around, and that's been really hard. That's been really hard.
Do you see the political system in America broken?
I do. I see many aspects of it broken. I think fundamentally it's good, but the system. I've sort of said I sort of believe in term limits. From my perspective, I've been back to Washington many times. It's an intoxicating, the power is intoxicating for people back there. And my wife went back with me and sat through a couple of meetings with a number of our representatives, and she said, I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. Yeah. It's almost like everybody goes groveling to Washington, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work as well as we should have.
I've always said that people are wonderful. The systems are broken.
Yeah.
And if we could ever just get the heart back together,
the passion of why we're there.
Why we're there. It truly is public service. It really is. It's about serving people, but it's not. I mean, we've turned this thing around. It's about staying empowered.
It's all about money.
Yeah.
It's more about money than anything else. And granted, that's sort of what government is there to do, to help. But I've been back too many times, and I saw too much.
Yeah.
And
are you saying you're glad you didn't get elected?
Well, actually, you want to know the truth? Yeah, you want to know the truth? I could not do what Greg Walden is doing.
Yeah.
That traveling back and forth, tremendous burden.
We want to commemorate you in the few moments we have here this morning. A little Dove mug for you to take.
Well, this will be one of my favorite mugs.
There's a little hat for you to wear on the farm.
Oh my gosh, you guarantee.
And we have,
and that's John Deere colors too.
Yeah, John Deere colors.
Right,
yeah,
all right.
And we have a thank you, CW.
Oh my gosh.
For your service. Look at that,
you guys.
Look at this, huh?
That's not my favorite. I mean, it is my favorite. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you
very much. Thank you.
We're going to miss you. I know you're only a cell phone call away from me, but thank you for your years of public service and serving us so well in so many capacities.
Well, thank you for being a good friend all these years, Perry.
My pleasure.
And all the support you've given me as well.
Yeah. Well, there he is, C.W. Smith. When's your last day?
Actually, January 4th. January 4th.
Okay, so you got a couple more days to call and harass them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Christmas.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas. All right, we'll
Thank
see you
you
next
for
time
leaving.
on
Yeah.
Focus Today.
You want me to hang around?
Oh,
or what?
well, I didn't know we had that much time left. All right, my clocks are. Oh, C.W. Smith, give me a quick rundown again. How many, it started with, in the police department?
With Medford Police Department for 10 years.
Okay.
I went on to be sheriff for 12 years.
Wow.
Stepped away, did in private enterprise, had a couple of businesses and so forth, and had a great time. Went back as chief of police of talent for 3 years.
Right.
Did a city manager stint for 1 year.
Yeah.
Came back to work as for the sheriff, the Jackson County Sheriff, for a couple of years.
Right.
And then I ran for county commissioner, and I've been a county commissioner for 8 years. So that's about 40 years or better in trying to do the right thing for the public.
Well, you've done it well, and I still remember you riding your horse in the parade. You still ride horses?
I have a mule. I have a mule.
How
and I'm gonna ride
appropriate.
a mule. Yeah. That's the best way to stay on top of the Democrats, I think.
Oh, that's classic. And this name? What's the name of it?
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell the mule. Big old ears, Tinkerbell. What color is Tinkerbell?
Oh, she's a dun. She's a beautiful dun. She's a beautiful mule. When you see her, she's a pretty girl.
Okay,
and she's
well, there
just
you
as
go.
sweet as
Going out on a mule back. C.W. Smith. Thank you, friend. God
Thank
bless
you.
you, pal. Okay.
Same to
we'll
you,
see you
sir.
next time on
Take care.
Focus Today.